Well, governors in 3 states now have ordered people to stay home in their houses. It covers 70 million people. But Governor Brown says she is following things closely, but she's not ready to tell Oregonians they have to stay in their house yet. Oregonians are free to roam for the time being. California's governor ordered citizens to stay home. New York's governor ordered his state to lock down as well. But Oregon's Governor Brown said it is not time for that with Oregonians.
If there is evidence Oregonians are not complying with the aggressive social distancing measures I have put in place, I will need to take more restrictive measures.
Several public health department leaders gathered yesterday to agree with the governor. The restrictive measures already in place are meant to keep people apart and slow down the rate of infection. Governor Brown said she is taking several other steps to make life easier for Oregonians during this crisis. She's stopping all DMV-related auto renewals, asking the president to push back the Real ID date to next year, and opening up unemployment benefits to those who may not have qualified before.
The department has taken several steps this week to make enrolling in unemployment easier and faster, including relaxing rules for any Oregonian who's unable to work due to the coronavirus, whether it's because they're ill, a family member is ill, or they've been advised by public health officials to self-quarantine.